We're going to get into a dichotomy today of force versus surrender. When should I force something and when should I surrender to it? Well, let's start with force. Trying to do something that you feel there's resistance around you. Now, you got to ask your question. You got to ask the question. This is a good one. Ask yourself this. Is the resistance I'm feeling something that I've created, or is it real? Now, that's a deep, deep answer. And if you can find that answer and gain clarity on that, it's not going to feel like force. Because the resistance, a lot of times, when you feel like you're pushing up against something, it's because it's a blind spot and you're not seeing the answer around you and you feel overwhelmed. So what you do is you double down. Have you ever seen the race horses and they put those blinders on them so that they can focus even more? Well, you have the blinders on. Now you're putting like double blinders on. And you're going to just, as hard as you can, run as hard and fast as you can and force through sheer will. I'm going to force this. When the answer could be a lot easier. And let me share an example. Let's say you're facing a problem. You think you're going to have to push through and it's going to take a lot of force. First thing you do is need to talk to people about the problem that you trust. Talk to mentors about the problem. And I'm going to do an episode here pretty soon on this. Don't get advice from people you love. I mean, if they're great entrepreneurs and if they've done it, that's fine. But I've seen so many people get advice from so many unqualified people. You can love people and accept where they're at. Maybe they're not as conscious as you are. Maybe they're not as successful as you are and you love them. That's perfect. Love them. Awesome. We all love our family. We all love those. But I see too many entrepreneurs and super successful people going and talking to someone that's never even run a business before just because they love them and they think that they have a relationship with them and they can talk to them about it. And the advice that they're going to give a lot of times is not good because they have no life experience on it. And they love you and you love them. So a lot of times they're going to give you some narcissistic, all about you and you're right and everybody else is wrong. So, and we'll get into that. I don't want to get into that podcast now. It's been brewing inside of me and I'm ready to launch it. So there'll probably be the next one or the next one after that. So force. Let's gain clarity. Let's get some mentors involved. Let's ask some questions. And you could do it as simple as this. Hey, Susan. Hey, Bill. Wanted to hop on the call with you real quick. If you got 5 or 10 minutes, send a text. Hey, you got 5 or 10 minutes? Let me know when. I wanted to hop on a call with you real quick. I'm facing this problem and I've got some resistance and I just need some wisdom. One, that's going to give you insight, right? You're going to see something you didn't see before. Number 2, as a leader, are you including your team in this resistance? Are you letting them take ownership of the resistance with you? Are you trying to handle this all by yourself? Because you get a bunch of minds together that you trust. Next thing you know, they're all working in the same. They can maybe together overcome that resistance through momentum and creativity. And you don't have to bear the force alone. I would rather fight one guy than fight 5 guys at the same time, right? And I'm not talking about 5 Guys burger place, even though delicious. Not my favorite burger. I do like the jalapenos and the fries and all that. Delicious. I'm hungry right now, as you can tell. So where is the resistance coming from? Now, and then you got to ask yourself the question why do I feel like I need to be forceful? That's a good one. Is it because I'm not sharing the vision enough? So now I think I need to force this down somebody's throat, or I need to force this down my team's throat, or I need to force this down my boss's throat or my partner's relationship or whatever. Why do you feel like there's this resistance that you need to push super hard to get the message across? Another thing that it could be is your messaging is wrong. So it's not resonating. Maybe you need to go to your marketing department and have a conversation with 2 or 3 of the marketing experts. Say, hey, I feel like I have to force this. I'm talking to these clients. I feel like I have to force this. I think my messaging's wrong. Can you guys help me with this real quick? Can we just go in the lunchroom and have a quick meeting on this? If you guys aren't busy. If not, let's schedule this. Can I schedule some time with you today? They're going to be, yeah, sure. We'd love to help. And you guys brainstorm. Next thing you know, you come up with the answer. Don't have to use force. A lot of times using force is not the answer, is what I'm getting at. But what about surrender? Force versus surrender. Surrender is a good thing. As a leader, surrendering is a good thing. I'm not saying it like winning, losing, and being a defeatist and saying, I'm just not going to do this. I'm done. I'm just surrendering this to the universe. I hear all that garbage all the time. I mean, I'm in the universe. I do a spiritual podcast. I talk about the universe all the time. But that's just a cop-out a lot of times. I'm just going to surrender this to the universe. Well, you're self-aware enough. I believe you have God inside of yourself to figure the shit out, not just dish it off to the universe. The universe said, I already gave you all the tools and everything. You just need to be self-aware. Tap into your higher self. The answer's right there. It's inside of you. Figure it out. But instead, what we want to do is not take the time to be self-aware, and we just want to kind of la-di-da, just give it to the feather in the sky of the universe. Blah, 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 blah. I see a lot of people surrender because they quit. And there's no such thing as quitting. Everything can be done. It may not be able to be done today, but it can be done in 3 months, in 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. It can be done. There's nothing that cannot be done. There's a great Bible verse. It's in Philippians 4:13. It's, I can do all things through Christ, which strengthens me. And I look at that and say, I can do all things because of what's inside of me. And you don't have to be religious. The higher self that's inside of you, it's showing you right there that you can do all things. You have that eternal wisdom in you to accomplish what you need to accomplish. There's no can'ts. There's no quitting. So when I'm talking about surrender, here's what I'm surrendering. Surrender to your team. Allow them to bear the responsibility. Surrender to your partner. Allow them to give the answer. Surrender to your mentors. Don't put that heavy burden of the problem on you, because what's funny is when you get people involved, especially smart people and people that have wisdom and people that have knowledge in a certain area that you may not, what you think is a super heavy burden, you think it's 100-pound pack on you and you just can barely move and barely make it and you're just struggling to walk 10 feet. They've already took those packs and they've reduced them from 100 to 50 to 25 to 10 to 5 to it's like a pillow in a backpack to them. They have the answer. It's going to shock you how quickly people will come up with the answer. And you'll be like, why the fuck did I not think of that? And you're going to be like, thank you so much. You saved my ass. I owe you, Bill. I owe you lunch. Now you just created, what did you create there? Unity. You created, you showed another person how smart they are and how beautiful they are. You guys work together. He feels amazing. You feel amazing. She feels amazing. So surrendering a lot of times as a leader is just allowing yourself to get away from holding that huge, heavy, fake burden that you've built this big emotional basket that you're carrying around with dumbbells in it, these emotional dumbbells, this feelings of dread, when you can easily alleviate it by surrendering it through trust, through acceptance, through loving others. Just surrender it. This is not a problem. This is an opportunity. This is not a problem. This is a challenge, and I'm up to challenges. I win at challenges. Allow it to be a challenge. Sometimes just pausing and meditating and saying, I'm going to let this problem go. These negative emotions, these negative feelings that I have, I'm not going to feel them anymore with this. I'm going to use the wisdom of others. I'm going to show love. I'm going to be creative. I'm going to be self-aware about this problem. anytime I get negative emotion, I will not allow it. The only thing that I will do in this very moment right now is surrender. No emotion, no thoughts. And you can already, if you do that, you can already start feeling how easy it feels. I'm a leader. I lead people through love. I lead people through not using my ego, but having humility. I surrender anything that I think is resistance or force to God, to the universe, to whoever you, Allah, whoever you pray to. I surrender it to that. And I'm allowing myself through others to come up with the answer. That begins to let things work, guys. And I'm not talking woo-woo stuff. I'm talking, it allows creativity, that vibration of creativity to be able to work. And I guarantee you the problem can be solved in 24, 48 hours. Majority of the time. Every time I do this, it's silly. I laugh. I have to laugh. I do. I laugh at how crazy emotionally and depressed I can get over something that I think is it's a 10 on a 1 to 10. It's a 10. Oh my God, the client's going to leave. Oh my God, this is going to happen. Oh no, my business is going to fold. Perfect example of this, and then we'll be done. I was talking to a business owner. They were stressing out so bad about the IRS, taxes, of course. And what did they do? They got a lead from somebody that knows this. It's this expert, this professional that can handle it in this certain situation with these business loans and different things that they had. And he goes super stressed out, hadn't been sleeping, haven't hardly been eating, at a 10 in stress, just at a 10. Goes there and the guy's like, oh, this is super simple. I've literally helped hundreds of business go through this. We have to do this, and this. It's going to cost about, $1,500 and we're good to go. You're like, what? That's it? Somebody with wisdom, an expert, already knew. They've gone through it. And I guarantee you, the force that you're thinking, somebody's already gone through this. You can even Google it. You'll probably find others that talk about it openly online. But I encourage you, take the time to pause and surrender. Find out what the resistance is, if you're making it up, if it's real, if others can help you with it, and get it solved.
Thank you for joining us on the Albuquerque Business Podcast. And thanks to our sponsor, RigbyDigital.com. Make sure to subscribe and share. And go to abqpodcast.com. Get show notes, resources, and links to everything we talked about today to help you navigate your journey as an entrepreneur and business owner.